My name is Ann Shafer. I'm here with Georgena Terry talking about the Wild Goose Chase, which is a women's bike ride that benefits the Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge, right?
That's right, Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge.
So the ride has been going on for almost 15 years, I think. And the benefit to the refuge is what? What do they get out of it?
Money. That's what every refuge wants, isn't it? You know, it depends on who's been riding it. In the beginning, Terry Precision Bicycles and Gore Bikewear ran the ride. So we pretty much had the decision of what we wanted to do. And early on in the ride, we contributed the full registration fee. We didn't take anything out for expenses at all. I remember, I think our first check to Blackwater was for something like $35,000. It was quite a large amount. And then things changed a little bit because my company was bought out by another investor who really didn't want to get in that deeply into it. And eventually the ownership of the ride actually passed to the Friends of Blackwater. And of course, I'm not sure, I think they take their expenses out, but I think in the long run right now, the ride has raised well over $125,000 for the refuge or the activities of the Friends of Blackwater.
I think people probably may not realize how much money can be raised doing, because it costs money to do the ride, you know, with all of the people flagging you down and all that. I mean, I think that's a substantial amount of money. My question for you is, you don't live anywhere near Maryland or the Eastern Shore, and you could have decided to do rides anywhere else in the country, benefiting all sorts of things. There's lots of, you know, fabulous nonprofits that need help. Was it really the natural beauty that got you sucked into the Blackwater Refuge, or was it some other, I mean, and you still do it. Like, why still do it?
Well, I think what got me sucked in was certainly the beauty, but also the fact that it's an incredibly environmentally sensitive area of the country, in particular with respect to land subsiding and sea level rising. Those two things combined together are like the kiss of death for a national wildlife refuge that's located in a marsh. And I go down there constantly because, as sad as it is, every time I go down there, I can see the change. I can see that roads that we used to ride on 10 years ago all the time are now flooded 50 or 60% of the time. And I can see that there's less of a certain kind of habitat, marshes in particular, disappearing, which all sounds kind of depressing. But I think it just continually brings home the fact that we are in a pretty serious situation with respect to our environment. And enjoy it while you've got it, because there's no way to reverse what's happening down there. Eventually, if you go down there, I bet 30 years from now, there will be no more Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge as we know it now. It will have moved more upland, and it'll be more fields and forest and that kind of thing. But a lot of the other things, long gone.
I feel like riders they just want to ride. And if they're riding somewhere beautiful, that's all the better. Yeah. But I wonder if there could be more attention placed on, or a spotlight placed on, this environmental impact thing. Like, I know that's part of the whole thing, but I feel like when I'm riding, I'm just like, woohoo, riding along, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it's good for somebody who comes down the first time to go, yoo-hoo, this is great, this is fantastic, because that means all the more when they eventually realize and learn that this might be a very temporary situation. I think then it strikes home personally. It's like, what? You mean I'm not going to be able to go through those marshes anymore unless I'm in a boat? So it's really powerful, I think, in that respect.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And also, I was born in Washington, D.C., and so I kind of feel a little bit of a connection to that area of the country, having visited my grandparents in Washington a lot when I was a little kid, and having cousins down there who lived there. And originally living a lot in Alabama, it feels very southern to me compared to New York. Incredibly southern.
Well, we are below the Mason-Dixon line.
That's right.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, technically we're in the South. It doesn't.
Yeah.
We're kind of a blue state. That doesn't really feel this very southern to me, but.